So let's get right into it. We're going to build a practical playbook for dealing with this crazy pressure cooker we're all in. The tough economy combined with all this rapid tech change. This is basically your guide to building resilience for what people are starting to call the 2026 squeeze.
Does it feel like you're being squeezed from every possible direction? Yeah. You're not imagining it, and you are definitely not alone. The pressure of rising costs, mixed with a job market that feels like it's changing overnight, it's causing a ton of stress for people everywhere. And look, what you're feeling is completely valid. Okay, so let's put a name to one half of this problem. You've probably heard the term cost of living crisis. It's not just that things feel more expensive. It's a very specific situation where the price of essentials, we're talking groceries, gas, rent, is going up way faster than our paychecks are. And that gap, that's the squeeze that really hurts our quality of life. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to break down exactly what this 2026 squeeze is. Then we'll get into the good stuff, the actionable strategies. We'll talk about fortifying your finances, future-proofing your career, and finally, how to master your mindset through it all. Okay, let's dive into part one. To really tackle this, you first have to understand the two massive forces that are creating this squeeze. Because it's not just one thing, it's like a perfect storm of pressures hitting all at once. And make no mistake, this cost of living pressure is a global thing. I mean, while the world average for food inflation is projected to be around 3.2%, just look at these numbers. Iran is looking at a staggering 55.9%. Argentina, Turkey. These aren't small increases. This is extreme, life-altering pressure on families and their budgets all across the planet. And then, on top of everything costing more, there's the other side of the squeeze, career instability. And it is being absolutely supercharged by AI. Over 60,000 tech workers were laid off in just the first part of 2025. And get this, it wasn't because the economy was tanking. Nope. This was all about companies restructuring and adopting AI and automation. It's a huge shift in how the job market works. So all this pressure from the outside, well, it really gets to you on the inside. All that constant worry about money and job security can lead to something called financial depression. And we're talking about real physical symptoms. Things like not being able to sleep because you're stressing about bills, feeling hopeless, or pulling away from friends and family. It's this nasty cycle where the financial stress hurts your mental health, which then makes it even harder to deal with the money stuff. Okay, so that's the problem. It's a lot, I know. It can feel really overwhelming, but that brings us to the most important question. With all this pressure, what can you actually do about it? Well, there are clear, concrete steps you can take to get back some control. So let's pivot from the problem to the playbook.
All right, let's get into the solutions. Our first pillar of resilience is all about fortifying your finances. You can think of this as building your first and most important line of defense against all this economic chaos.
A fantastic place to start, and I mean a really great place, is with the 50-30-20 rule. It's so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. The whole idea is that 50% of your income after taxes goes to your absolute needs, your rent, your groceries, your utilities. 30% is for your wants, the fun stuff like hobbies or eating out. And that last 20%, that's non-negotiable. It goes straight to savings and paying down debt. It just brings so much clarity to where your money is going.
And here's how you actually do it. It's a simple three-step process. First, for just 1 month, you track every single dollar. You have to know where it's going before you can tell it where to go. Step 2 is where the magic happens. You separate everything into needs and wants. And trust me, this can be a real wake-up call. Finally, you assign every dollar a job using what's called a zero-based budget. This makes saving a priority, not an afterthought.
Now for our second pillar, future-proofing your career. Once your financial foundation is a bit more solid, you've suddenly got some breathing room. Now you can focus on not just surviving, but actually thriving in this new age of AI.
Look, the whole idea of job security, it's been turned on its head. It used to be that if you were loyal to a company for a long time, you were safe. That's the old security. The new security is all about your personal toolkit of skills. Skills that are relevant right now and that can adapt to whatever comes next. You've got to ask yourself, what value do I bring to the table that a machine can't easily replicate?
So if you're thinking about making a career shift, this ALAS framework is a fantastic roadmap. First, you assess your own skills. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Then you learn new in-demand skills by getting certifications that companies actually respect. Third, you apply that new knowledge by building a portfolio of real projects. And finally, you showcase that new value everywhere. LinkedIn, your resume, you name it.
So where do you even start? Well, the smartest play is to look for jobs that work with AI, not jobs that AI is going to replace. We're talking about roles that are AI adjacent. Fields like cybersecurity, data science, cloud architecture, and DevOps are just exploding right now. These are the jobs that manage and enable all this new tech, which makes them incredibly valuable.
This brings us to our final piece of the puzzle. And honestly, it might be the most critical one of all: mastering your mindset. Because none of the money or career strategies matter if you are just completely burnt out.
This quote from the Mental Health Foundation just hits the nail on the head. We are swimming in a 24/7 flood of bad news, and being constantly exposed to that, it just fries our nervous system. It leaves us feeling drained, anxious, and helpless, making it pretty much impossible to think clearly and make good decisions. So, what's the antidote to all this overwhelm? You have to be proactive and protect your mental space. And here are some simple, powerful ways to do it. Set real boundaries with the news. Turn off the notifications on your phone. Seriously. Create phone-free zones in your house. Shift your focus away from the giant global problems and onto the small things you can actually control. And this last one is huge. Give yourself permission to rest. Rest isn't a reward you earn. It is essential fuel for resilience. I really want to leave you with this final idea. Resilience isn't just about gritting your teeth and weathering the storm. It's about proactively building a boat. Your finances, your career, your mindset, that's so strong it can handle any storm that comes its way. So that brings me to my final question for you. Looking at everything we've just covered, from your budget to your skills to protecting your own headspace, what's the one resilient action, just one small thing, that you will commit to taking this week?